In the windswept, war-torn gypsy camps of Latveria, born amidst the scent of wood smoke and despair, was Victor von Doom. His mother, Cynthia, a sorceress of fierce power who bargained with Mephisto himself for knowledge, died shielding her infant son from demonic retribution. His father, Werner, a gentle healer, was broken by grief and crushed by the iron boot of Latveria's tyrant, King Vladimir. Victor inherited both parents' gifts, his mother's arcane brilliance and his father's unyielding intellect. By 10, he built machines from scrap. By 15, he understood forces beyond mortal ken. But Latveria was a cage. His genius festered, curdled by the injustice surrounding him, by the whispers of his mother's dark legacy, and by a burning need to control the chaos that had stolen everything. Escape came. Victor fled to America, to State University, a colossus among intellectual ants. Here, he met his cosmic foil, Reed Richards. Reed's mind was fluid, adaptable, collaborative. Victor's was rigid, absolute, solitary. Their rivalry wasn't petty jealousy, it was a clash of cosmic philosophies. Reed saw possibility, Victor saw perfection, and Reed's ease threatened Victor's absolute need to be supreme. Driven by visions of freeing Latveria and communing with his mother's spirit, Victor ignored warnings, even Reed's, which stung like acid, and built an interdimensional portal. Pride, his fatal flaw, blinded him. He dismissed a minor calculation error. Reed's calculation, he was certain, was flawed out of spite. The experiment exploded. The blast scarred Victor's body horribly, but worse than the searing pain, worse than the ruin of his face, was the shattering of his perfect self-image. He saw only Reed's imagined sabotage, the universe's cruel mockery. Expelled, disfigured, consumed by rage and shame, he wandered the earth, descending into the darkest corners of hidden knowledge. In the frozen Himalayas, Victor found his crucible. Amongst ancient monks and forgotten sorcerers, he forged not just his intellect, but his soul, or what remained of it. He learned magic to rival his science, hammering his pain and fury into power. From scrap metal and arcane sigils, he crafted his armor, not merely protection, but a symbol, a second skin of invincible will. And finally, the mask. Cold, expressionless steel. It was not to hide the scars. It was to become something beyond human frailty. The boy Victor died in the fire. Dr. Doom was born. He returned to Latveria. The tyrant king fell like rotten timber. Doom seized the throne, not as a liberator, but as a benevolent dictator. He rebuilt the nation into a gleaming, technologically advanced paradise. A paradise where dissent was crushed beneath an iron fist. Order was imposed, absolute and beautiful in its terrible symmetry. Latveria was his masterpiece, its people, his subjects, or his possessions. Doom's gaze turned outward. Reed Richards, leading the Fantastic Four, became the living embodiment of the chaotic, flawed universe Doom despised. Their battles were cosmic chess matches. Doom stealing the Silver Surfer's power cosmic, harnessing the Beyonder's energy, building time machines, stealing the power of gods themselves. Each scheme was grander than the last, driven by a complex brew. Vengeance against Reed, a desire to save humanity from itself, under his rule naturally, and a gnawing, unspoken loneliness. He saw futures where his rule brought peace. He witnessed realities where Reed's way led to ruin. He even achieved godhood, briefly believing he could wield ultimate power responsibly. Yet, every victory tasted of ash. The mask never came off. The approval he craved, from his mother's spirit, from the world, perhaps even from Reed, remained elusive. His tragedy is this: his brilliance is undeniable, his will titanic, his potential limitless. Yet his pride, His inability to trust, his refusal to be vulnerable, forever chains him. He could save the multiverse, but he cannot save himself from the scarred boy in the Latverian snow. Dr. Doom, the philosopher king who rules with an iron will and arcane might, the tragic genius whose greatest enemy is the reflection he cannot bear, the would-be savior whose methods damn him. He sits upon his throne in Castle Doom, Latveria gleaming below, a perfect, silent monument to absolute control. Yet the wind, howling through the Transylvanian peaks, sounds like a lost child's cry. He is not simply a villain. He is Icarus with wings of steel, who flew too close to the sun and refused to fall. He is the promise of order, twisted by the corrosion of absolute power. He is Victor Von Doom, and his story, a symphony of ambition, loss, and the terrible price of perfection, echoes forever in the halls of legend. Remember his name, for Doom is eternal.
Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.